Welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage. Today we're going to be having a look at Render. Let's get into the charts and see what's going on. Okay, before we jump into the lower time frame ideas, we're just going to talk about some of our higher time frame counts that we are tracking. Now, within this idea of the bullish setup here, what we've been talking about for a while is that we could look at this as a series of 1s and 2s over here, looking for a bigger push to the upside, though this move would only be confirmed by seeing a bigger push up towards this 1.618 level here at this 8.65, and then ideally what we'd want to see is this move develop as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and actually have this fifth wave hit this 1407. Now if we do see something along these lines, this could then coincide with this idea of having this series of 1s and 2s earlier on here, and we could be looking for a bigger impulsive structure that's going to have a series of additional fourths and fifths to the upside, looking to develop as a later stage. But now the key thing is here, like I said, first we'd want to see this 865 get hit, and then we'd want to see this 1.618 get hit up here at this 1407. Until then, we need to be open to the interpretation that if we want to look at this in a bullish way, it's still looking for upward price action here. We could still see this move develop as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as an expanding diagonal. Now, these are less common than the contracting variation, but it is technically still possible. Now, if this is the case, what I'd be treating this move here is as a corrective three-wave structure. We were looking for this potential of coming down towards this lower box area here, but we didn't quite reach this zone. So now we have got temporary support here. It is possible this is still looking to complete one more leg to the downside as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, in which case we could see price come back down into this 120 to the 69-cent level. But what we'd then be looking for is effectively this low to hold, and then to see five-wave structure playing out from that point. Now, if we are looking at this potentially as a completed move over here, where this is not actually A, B, and C, and rather W, X, and Y, and we've actually completed into this low here, we could start to see a rally to the upside. Now, the key thing within this is there's two levels I'd be looking out for. First would be this $6.59, and then the secondary one would be up here towards this 1618, which is sitting at this 22.55. A move up towards this zone would then allow us to look at this move as 1, 2, 3, and then we'd be looking for that fourth and a fifth, which would then push us to much higher prices. So this would indicate that we are in a trending move. Now we need to be very careful because, like I said, potentially this C wave could also be incomplete here, where we could still be looking for another leg to the downside, which could look to push us down towards this 937 to this 082, which if we overlay that idea of this as a diagonal would actually be looking to push us back down into this 1236 to this 1618. So still looking out for that possibility here that we could be still looking for a little bit more of a push to the downside. We're going to go into these subwaves in a second, but just covering those higher time frame ideas. Now we also need to be aware of the more bearish idea here, where we could say that this is just a bigger A, a B, and we're looking for a C wave to the downside. This is why if we do develop this as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, we need to be very careful that if we get three waves up, this could then indicate that we could still be looking for some continuation down. Now the one-to-one of this is sitting towards this 097, so we need to just be aware of that possibility. We would expect at a minimum, if this is going to be a C wave, to move down to this 0.618, but ideally I'd like to see this A wave get targeted here towards this 0274. Now if we are looking at the C wave, we want to look for a 5-wave move to the downside and then see this continuation down from that point. So we're going to actually cover the bullish potential here first, and then we're going to talk about that bearish potential. So first off, like I said, we are looking for the potential that this could be a series of 1s and 2s, looking for a bigger move which could be pushing us up towards this 865, or alternatively looking to see if we could get a move up towards this 659 if this is just an A, B, and a C. Now if this is completed into this low, what we would then be expecting here is to see price action actually looking to develop good impulsive structure to the upside. Now it is looking very choppy at the moment, but there is a few ways we can look at this, and we're going to discuss the different ways that I'm currently keeping an eye on these subwaves. Now within the bullish idea here, we were talking about that potential that what we could have here is that this is actually 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and we actually complete into this high, and we're looking for this potentially to be a wave 2 location between this 382 and this 50%. Now we have actually found support here. Now if we are looking at this continuing up to be a bigger impulse, we'd need to see a move past this 225 more locally here, and we'd need to be on the lookout here that either this move is developing as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we got one more high, and then we're going to get 3 waves down, or alternatively this move could actually be developing as 1, 2, 1, 2, and then we're going to see a bigger break to the upside in a more impulsive third wave. So we're going to go over these two ideas now. Now, within the idea that this is actually just forming another 5-wave structure here, and what we have is that this is effectively going to be 1, 2, 1, and 2. What I'd be looking for here is the potential to actually see price push up one more time. Now, looking at the subwaves here, what we can say is that this is wave 1, 2, 3, this is wave 4, and we could be looking for this as a wave 5. Now, the typical wave 5 target here is this 192 to this 184. If we do see price push up into this zone, I'm going to be looking out for a reaction, but we also need to respect the fact that this could be 1, 2, 1, 2. We're going to go over that in a second. Now, if this is actually looking for a 5th wave, we also need to be mindful that we have moved up to this 0.382 of this wave 1, 2, 3. And if we are looking at the internals here, we need to just be very careful with this one, that this hasn't completed or isn't going to complete in some kind of a diagonal, and we might not reach this higher target, where this could be potentially 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, invalidation of this would come by crossing this 164. And what we'd actually be looking for here to confirm this as an expanding diagonal was we would have to move above this $1.80. If we do move above that, I'm going to be keeping an eye on this 0.618, which is sitting here at this 183. And then we'd be looking effectively to see a zigzag pattern to the upside here if this is going to end as a diagonal. The other way that we can look at this move is that this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And what we actually have here is that this leg here is a leading diagonal. Now, a leading diagonal means that this will be the first part of a bigger move to the upside. So if we do see this as a leading diagonal here, what we'd be expecting to see is price find support and then looking to push to the upside. Now, within this idea of the leading diagonal, what I would be looking for is something along these lines here, where effectively what we have here is that this move here is a 1, we're looking for a wave 2, and this would be valid for as long as we hold this 161. What I'd be looking for is 3 waves down, which we currently have. So if we do look to hold this zone of this 50% to the 786, potentially we could start to look to turn around. We have actually come down and hit this 50% and found support temporarily. If we just see a 3-wave move to the upside here, we can potentially look to come back down here one more time for this wave 2, looking to test this zone one more time. Now, this 0.786 could be quite an interesting zone at this 164, looking to potentially swing fail this low if we do see price looking to push back down here. Invalidation, like I said, is at 161. What we then want to see here is effectively we'd want to see price forming this as 1, 2, bigger third wave up here, looking for this higher target of this 194. If we do see this 194 come in here, this would then align with the idea here that this is actually developing as a simple 5-wave structure, and we could potentially be looking for this $2 to this 196. Now, if I overlay this idea of the 1, 2, 1, 2, what we can see here is that this would also align with pushing up into this white 5th wave target. It would push up slightly higher here. Like I said, you know, it's possible that we could push all the way up towards this $2, which I think would be an important psychological level as well. So we'd have to watch that zone for a reaction. Now, if we do get a 5th wave like this, where we get this additional push up, what I'm going to be looking for then is, like I said previously, that what we could then have is that this is our 4th and a 5th, and we could be looking to hold this green support box. If we do get this as a 5th wave up, we come back down in 3 waves, hold this 146, look to test this zone of this 166 to this 154. This could then set up for the next part of this move, in which case what we'd be expecting would be to see price looking to hold this support zone and rally to this 1.618. And this would then start to build those additional structures here that we would be looking for if we are looking for an extension, because this would then look to push us up past this 1.618, which is sitting here at this 225, and that would then align with the idea here of actually getting a bigger extension, and that would then, you know, tie into that whole idea that we could be looking for that extension up. Now, it is also possible that we could see price just not come back down towards these lower levels here, and we could just see price start to rally. Now, this idea here would actually indicate that there's potentially extension based off of the size of this next 1-2 here. And what we'd be looking for is a direct move up towards this $2.13. So if this next leg here, if we do form this as 1-2 and we start to see price action blasting through that $2 zone, I'm going to be keeping an eye on this area of this 213 to see if we get a reaction of a typical third wave location where we'd then expect a fourth and a fifth. If we do see something like this, this would then align with a bigger 5-wave move here where this is 1 2 1 2 3 4 5. Then we'd be looking for the blue fourth and the blue fifth wave, which would all tie into the idea once again that we're looking for this 1.618 here at this $2.25. So that is our two bullish counts here. If we continue to hold these lows, we can potentially look to rally, but what I would be looking for is, you know, nice clean 5-wave structure to the upside. We also need to just be careful here that within our more bearish case here, we could be looking for a bigger breakdown, and what we're going to do is go over this now. And what we could see within this is that this move could still technically be looking to push down one more time in a Z wave. We have come up into this typical zone that we could face a rejection, which would be this 1382 to this 121. This is also aligning very nicely here with this golden pocket in red, which is this 182 to this 179. And if we do have this as an additional X wave here, what we'd be saying is that this is X and we could still have our Z wave down. Now our Z wave would typically look to move at least past this 0.618 level, and this would be quite an interesting zone if we look at the structure here, because what this could actually do is if we saw a move down towards this 0.618, this could actually be a retest of this high. We could actually stay above this low here and still see price looking to rally from that point. Alternatively, we could look to move through this level, come back into the central trend line here, which is sitting towards this 106. Obviously, this depends on how long these moves take to play out, but these are some of the things that I'm looking for within this idea. Now, within this, as a corrective move to the upside here, what we'd have to be on the lookout for is we could also just argue that this is A, B, and C up into this high here. And then what we are looking for is a Y wave. Now the Y wave target here would be this 194 at a 1-to-1, though we have met the minimum requirement here at this 174. So because of that reason, I'm just being mindful that we could see this move actually look to break down. However, if we do see price looking to push back up here one more time for this fifth wave, what I would then be looking for is that this could be potentially becoming A, B, and C, and then we could still see another push up here towards this 194 region, looking to retest this 1-to-1 zone. So going to be keeping an eye on that. We do have this target box, which is also sitting in this zone, this 197 to this 188 level, and we do have some monthly, weekly, and daily naked points of control that are sitting in here. So if we do see price come up into this level, it would make a lot of sense in actually coming back and looking to sweep these areas. So going to be keeping an eye on those levels if we do look to move up in this way. So the idea here would be that if this just forms as a bigger corrective move here, we could still be looking for, you know, another leg down here where we could look to push down one more time. If we do see that, what we could then see is, you know, that Z wave come into play here, where we could still be looking for this lower region towards this 106 as a potential target. Now, as well as that, if we are looking at this move to the upside here, potentially we could be looking at this slightly different, and instead of this becoming 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then we get 3 waves down and then see another 5-wave move, we could also argue that currently we just have A, B, and C. Now, if this is just A, B, and C as a zigzag, and this is our A wave, what we could see is that this could potentially just be a B wave, and we could still see this rally to the upside in a C wave, where our target would be $2.07 to this 197 range. Now, within this idea, what we'd be saying is that this would become A, B, and C, and this would then potentially look to complete this idea of the Y wave. We can see here that this would push us just past this 1-to-1 level, and what I would then be looking for, that if this is just corrective in this way, where this is W, X, and Y, what I'd then be looking for is price to come back down and take these lows. But like we said previously, you know, we need to be very careful with this count, because technically, as long as we continue to hold these higher lows here, the chances of that rally looking to develop are, you know, still around. So we need to just respect that idea that as soon as we get a 5-wave move like this to the upside, we'd have to just be very careful here that this couldn't actually just start to take off, what we'd be expecting is if we do complete this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that completes our Y wave, we'd want to see price break back down and take these lows. If we fail to do that, then the bullish case is actually starting to look more likely here, and we'd have to start respecting that count and looking for the volume to start picking up to the upside for confirmation of that third wave. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video. Leave us some feedback down below, and also in the description you'll find a link to the Discord. Come check it out, it is free to join. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.